as I was sharing in our short, so 5D, we know about being free lovers because we know self-love, emotional maturity, and functional adult relationships, or that's where IHP comes in. When you are a person who has a personal development journey and you get to beginner's mind, that's because you understand that those first 3 years of your life are implicit memory. And if you don't, that's where, again, I share attachment, trauma informed, besides being a lovely mystic in the Enlightenment Soul Age group. So protecting the future doesn't need protecting per se, because the 5D collective, we already know the mystics. Everything is love. In fact, curiosity. So how do you get to self-love? You get to self-love either without rupture from your whole 3-year-old heart, like myself. I have a mother who raised me with secure attachment, and I get to be the fun, open-hearted, spontaneous person, no regrets from my childhood, unlike those who instead, they come out of a childhood trauma inner world with a shame button. The shame button, it's not a button, but it's basically a heartbreak rupture of I am in trouble. It's, again, implicit. So self-loathing can be in there, dating beneath yourself and chasing people that don't want you. So self-loathing is one of the words, but also what other, basically you don't have self-compassion. So when the people who are out there talking about too much compassion, it's because they don't understand the information from the attachment and trauma therapist. I'm attachment trauma informed. So in addition to the mystic component, which we're going to get to in a minute, we get to build, again, loving relationships because we're Pachas, not Cuscos. And as I was saying, we don't have to go through the whole frozen 1 to 2. Nobody's dramatic here. People who do personal development, they don't do, I don't want to do it, I want life now. We're not teenagers whining with our 3-year-old. We actually understand that our body, it's an embodied brain. And if you don't understand it, now I'm sharing it with you. So again, the future, it's beautiful. Yes, with curiosity, when we can look at all that our human evolution and that we brought. So while people who don't like technology, AI, they apparently don't want our species to keep living once the sun goes out. So some of them, they don't call themselves flat earthers, but they might as well. We don't. Okay, so the fates, you know what I love more than anything when I think about the relationship I have with the sphere of consciousness is that the lovely sciences people look into it too. So they know that our embodied brain has energy and flow, the neuroscience community. There's a way that they talk about when we're in a flow state. And I love it. Selflessness, timelessness, effortlessness, richness. It's in the effortlessness moment that the 4D collective, because they're not grounded in their 8 senses as a human being, so they're not curious about their divine feminine. Their mind, which is their divine mind, where are you? Their divine masculine is not empty. No, they got a story like a Cusco. And that is where we're going to go back to lovely Patrick Tiahan. He's a childhood trauma survivor. He's healed. And I always say healing. He's on YouTube. You can find him. And one of his recent community shares was his biggest regret from his childhood is that it made him unkind. I know all about unkindness because as a teenager, I began to notice these teenagers making very unkind decisions. Let me see. And I'm going to use this one, though, because I thank you, Jesus and Mom and God. I don't call God anymore God because we have 3D who wants to use it in a very different way. So Akash and consciousness are really great. Essence of love and life. Bold steps forward. When I saw those kids being what kids are, I'm like, I'm not going to follow the crowd. Nope, I'm inspired by life because life is fun and it's full of love in here. So what I learned was that you don't actually need to be like other people. Again, thanks, Mom, because as she would say, everyone's different and you're serious, Maria. So once you get older, people will be more serious. And what I found out is not really true. So the shame cycle is a bunch of people that will continue to have self-soothing mechanisms that are not their inner and outer well-being. And there's where you find the Cuscos out there, which is not the 5D collective. So inner critic and outer critic versus inner growth and using your left and right mode. So the part of integration in the brain, people don't understand that what comes up from here, it's all from your 0, 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old. They don't want to believe that sensations and emotions. Who's they? People who don't know about attachment and trauma information from the good mental health community. And that's anyone who has a surface level and they talk about yoga bringing demons out of you. Or let's see, the ones who basically don't believe in dissociative identity disorder and what, again, a group of academics are presenting. We got a bunch of them because they just can't fathom that we can be whole, open-hearted 3-year-old hearts because they have not done the good therapy work, unlike those who do go and get the good therapy. Now, if you get a good therapist, they're going to say you're whole, your behavior, we're not going to pathologize it. We're going to help you understand that you have implicit and explicit memory, that your body holds 80% of it and your mind translates it. But if you can't do left and right, if you can't handle what comes up, you got a window of tolerance versus a window of welcome to your emotional plane. You have a story that you're left mode, which your story began when they started to speak to you. No, when you started to use your left mode. So the first year of your life, only the right mode is on. And then in the second year, the left mode is on. And here's where, let me think, how can I explain this one? Well, I'm not going to. You can tune into the longer episodes. Otherwise, I won't be able to do what I want to do, which is finish up the message. There's always enough. Okay, so 5D Collective, mystics included. In fact, for my mystics, you do not have a saga or a drama or any type of divine timing with your twin flame or flames or oversoul or soulmates if you're 5D mystic. I am, though, in the Enlightenment Soul Age group, and as people like to create suspicious minds due to people talking to teenagers on there, what I'm going to share is all data is quantitative when it counts, and other than that, it's qualitative, so philosophers, and they're all a bunch of different subject matter experts. So we want to take seriously peer-reviewed. You want to then dive deep into the subject matters that you're going to decide you want to focus in on. But if you don't learn the deep subject matters on being a human, then you have not even scratched the surface of what it is to have an embodied brain. So free lovers are free because our 0-1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old has a whole heart. What does this mean? I have no shame button. So societal shame, it's not about outside. It actually is a pressure that you have from within you. It's called a trigger. So emotional triggers, which is why we don't have emotional triggers. We do emotional accountability, emotional maturity, emotional where if I am using a tone at you and you tell me that my tone is nasty, I'm going to learn how to work with my tone. I'm not going to expect you to work with your tone. You know why? Because when you meet adaptive children, Cusco's teenager land, again, I learned everything about teenager land, and now that I'm a grown-up, I just know, thanks, attachment, trauma-informed people, Daniel Siegel, Stephen Porges, Bezel van der Kolk, Janina Fisher, Julianne. I could have so many words and names of all of these beautiful Stephen Porges. I said that when I'm thinking Albert from Somatopia. But there's a bunch of Bezel van der Kolk, a bunch of beautiful people that know all about being human. So when I see people who don't know anything about being human, I will always know because they don't know that we are meant to be innocent and open-hearted. But if your first 3 years of life, didn't go as planned and you didn't have the ability to stand up for yourself and say, I own my body, which, by the way, I did do. Thanks, Mom. Because I wasn't in a frightening environment or frightened. No, I had a 1/3 of attunement and repairing rupture. I had, and I still have, but now I'm a grown-up, authoritative parenting style. And I was allowed to be loved as a beautiful cockroach, because there's a saying that my lovely regular listeners know, Neapolitan mothers. Every cockroach is beautiful to their mother. So we already know, even if we're ugly, it doesn't matter. We're still going to be loved. And that's the beauty of it. We don't work for love. And we can be as spoiled as we want, quote unquote. We're not spoiled. We're actually children. So energetically allowing a child to run around, you don't suppress their emotions. So what people don't understand is we're free lovers because we're not ashamed of being quirky and whatever. The ones who can move over here are the ones who can, one, choose how to treat others. Come on over. And instead we have a lot of other ones who want to be squirrels from Cusco land and do Frozen. So they do a whole different journey, and that's for another day. We know our worth. In fact, we don't need to reclaim it. We actually allow ourselves to know everyone treats us with love and respect and acceptance. So you stand up for yourself when somebody tells you to be different. You say, no, thank you, sayonara, which is why our tango partners, conscious lovers, yes, we only have fun. We don't do the other stuff. Tune in for more and have a great day.